Honda City is the car that needs no introduction in the Indian market. This is the 5th generation Honda City with us today. Honda has launched the car in 3 variants, that's V, VX and ZX. With us we have the VX variant, which is the middle variant. Honda has 2 engine options with this car. It is the 1.5 liter petrol, which is available both automatic and manual, and the 1.5 liter diesel, which is only available in the manual 6-speed manual gearbox transmission. The 1.5 petrol produces 121 HP of power and 145 Nm of torque, whereas the diesel produces 100 PS of power, 100 HP of power, and 200 Nm of torque. This 7-speed CVT comes with the petrol variant, and the 6-speed manual comes with both diesel and the petrol variants. If you talk about the exteriors, from the front we can see a big chunk of chrome in the front grille wrapping around the headlights, which are projector has been set up in the VX trim which we have today, and the DRLs run above them. The fog lamps are also halogen. In the ZX trim, if you go, you get all these LED. The headlamps are totally different, 9 LED array setup, and then the bonnet have a very good scoops which give a muscular look to the car. And coming to the side, you can see the tire size is 16 inches alloy wheels, that is 185/55 R16, which is a decent amount of rubber put on the car. The ORVM has a swept back LED indicators which are very stretched along the ORVM, giving it a nice look. On the door handles we can see the request sensors which are available on both the sides, and the car looks pretty long from the side. It has a 2600 mm wheelbase. Coming towards the back of the car, you can see the wrap around LED tail lamps, the Honda logo from the back. The car surely seems a bit compact, but it is not. It's a massive 506 liters of boot space. Reflectors are given on the edges of the bumper. It has 4 parking sensors, reverse sensors you may say. Coming to the interior, the car has on the safety front 6 airbags, the driver, the side passenger, the curtain airbags, and the seat airbags you can see right here. It has an 8-screen infotainment system which supports Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, auto dimming rear view mirror, a sunroof which is of a decent size, one touch electric sunroof. You can see gives a feeling of airiness if you want, and has a one touch close operation too. The VX trim comes with fabric upholstery like this one, but this particular car we have has aftermarket leather seat covers fitted from the Honda itself. In the rear you can see the space is large. You have a pretty good leg room. This variant we get halogen cabin lights. In ZX you get LEDs here also. Now coming to the display in the front of the driver, it's a semi-digital display. And before I forget, the steering is leather wrapped from the company itself in this variant. The speedometer here is analog, whereas the tachometer and the other information comes in a LED display. The tachometer can be replaced for fuel and range, speed and time, G meter. In the range and fuel you can see distance to empty, the average, instantaneous average trip. In speed and time, how much the car has driven, average speed and trip again. G meter tells you where the car is. This dot in the center should be there for stability. It's mostly in the sports cars to help you better cornering, understand the vehicle dynamics while cornering. And the tachometer stays there. That's the fuel gauge, your odometer, and the green leaf you can see is the econ button, which is here. It's the economy mode. You can switch it off. If you wish, you can switch it on if you want. And that's the indicator. That's park, reverse, neutral, drive, and sport. This is the CVT variant. In this you get the paddle shifters, which can be used in sport mode. So the car gets automatic headlamps, and it's the wiper controls. Coming to the chain control, it has the cruise control where you can set the cruise, set it, increase the speed, cancel it. On the other side we have the volume controls for the speakers, the toggle switch for the tachometer, home button is used for tachometer, and this is called receiving, call ending, and voice commands available on this car. The tweeters you can see are placed on the door and above the AC vents. Over there too you can see them. And now in the engine bay we get to see the 1.5 liter i-VTEC petrol engine. Over here it's from the Earth Beams technology, and it's also badged by Honda on this vehicle. The engine bay is pretty empty. You can see it's a lot of space here, there, here, and what else. And that's the intake, that's the battery, electrical cables going through. It has insulation over the top. That's how the car looks. Now let's open the boot. It has the request sensor over there. That's the reverse parking camera. The boot is pretty big, as I told you, 506 liters of space. If we see the spare tire, there's no cost cutting by Honda in this. It's the same size R16, same section tire. Close the boot. And driving of the car, the drive is pretty smooth. You can, if you want power, you can get it. Just tap the throttle. There's a bit of lag in the car, but if you turn off the economy mode, that lag also goes away. And you can see it's a rush of speed. The car gains power. Turn back to economy mode. Fuel prices are pretty high. I don't want to destroy them. And it's a pretty decent ride on the rumble strips. No such vibrations enter into the cabin. The road noise is also minimum. So we turn off the volume, and let's try the cruise control. Cruise main set, and at 58 we are cruising right now. 60 the speed limit at this road, so at 58 I'm cruising. The car is able to maintain at 58-59 itself. The view from the windscreen is pretty good. As you can see, the over beams attached to the door instead of the A-pillar, so you get that view, that reducing the blind spot. And if we go on to turns, let's disengage the cruise, pick a little bit of speed, and on the turns let's open the tachometer and change it to G meter. For that, the orange dot tells us the stability of the car, and on the turns the ride is pretty stable, no body roll. As it's a sedan itself, the body roll is always minimal. The ride is pretty smooth. The engine, you can feel that the engine loves to rev. You can rev it till higher RPMs, but also on this day-to-day drive, it's pretty smooth and comfortable drive. Let's turn to sports mode and try the paddle shifters. See how the RPM shoots as soon as the RPM gets locked around 2600 RPM, and the drive mode, the RPM drops and locks itself around 1200-1300 RPM. It starts to change the gears. That's the difference of power when you feel. And if you want to do quick overtakes, just use the paddle shifter -1 and push the throttle, and the car goes. It pulls very linearly, very nicely. while driving. You can feel that the car is getting stopped in the economy mode. As soon as you turn off the economy mode, you can feel the surge of power and the actual heart of the car, that's the engine, the i-VTEC. The roads and wants to go faster. It feels like it has the capability to glide over the smooth roads, but as soon as you turn the economy mode on again, you feel that someone is holding the car back. It's getting pulled back. The engine's throat is getting scuffed, and still, even after that, you can get a huge amount of power. Yeah, for overtakes it's a bit laggy when it's in economy mode. Turn off the economy mode for the overtakes, or simply do a gear down by the paddle shifters. As I told you before, it's good to go. The ride quality is pretty good, and it feels like over some bumps, the suspension, the mechanism suspension in the car, it absorbs majority of the bumps and the potholes, the minor potholes and bumps pretty decently, and doesn't translate into the cabin. The thuds don't translate, and it's pretty decent ride, as I told you before. Let's try to pull the car a bit, turn the economy mode off, just tap the accelerator a bit, and the car pulls itself smoothly, linearly, without any jerks. The gear shifts are pretty smooth. You can't feel the gear shifting easily unless and until you just push the pedal to the full, just use a heavy foot, then it would be a little bit noticeable. With a light foot, the drive is very good. The gear shifts are, you don't even get to know that the car is shifting gears. That's good sign. That's a good CVT provided by the Honda, and the rubber band effect of the CVTs is not felt that much. It's pretty decent. The rubber band effect, the Honda has minimized the rubber band effect a lot. The CVT's negative point, that the rubber band effect which we get, the lag which we get in power delivery, that's a bit, and that's only in the economy mode. I go back to economy mode, and yes, I can feel it immediately coming back to me. Indicate to the other side. Yeah, the ride is good, and that's all about the Honda City 5th generation, the CVT petrol variant. Thank you.